From the WACH Fox studios, this is On Point on WACH Fox with Cynthia Hardy.
Good morning. Welcome to On Point on WACH Fox. It is always a pleasure to bring our show every week, and we do hope that you take the opportunity to tune into the radio show On Point with Cynthia Hardy, heard every Sunday evening, 6 p.m. on 101.3 The Big GM. This week on Point, small business and South Carolina's economic recovery. South Carolina is experiencing a remarkable economic recovery, which is getting a lot of national attention. Manufacturing is the driving force behind the economic rising tide, which has created thousands of jobs in recent months. A recent article in Southern Business and Development titled, "Watch Out World, the Palmetto is Back," provides compelling evidence that South Carolina has found its economic groove and again is steadily rebuilding the reputation enjoyed by our state years ago. But while the state points to benefits of companies like BMW and Boeing, experts say if the recovery is going to continue, it will depend on the success of small business. This week on Point on Watch, are our state's efforts to grow small business aggressive enough? I am seated with my favorite WACH Fox News anchor, Brian McConkey. And Brian, I was really excited as we were researching this topic to find out that South Carolina is leading the country in economic recovery, particularly using manufacturing to do so.
Well, just think about over the past 18 months or so, the amount of big name companies that have come in here, have pledged to create thousands and thousands of jobs, have pledged to invest billions of dollars, and it's starting to be seen in some of the numbers. Sure, some of those jobs that have been pledged aren't going to go online for another year, maybe 2 years from now, but that's maybe giving people the impression that this is a place to be. People are getting back to work, and unemployment is below 9% for the first time in more than 3 years now.
What a difference.
So things are happening.
What a difference, right, because it hasn't been that long ago when we were having shows on the Oh Woe Is Me shows.
Yes.
With regards to our economy and everything.
Yeah.
Well, other people that are celebrating the good news are over at the Department of Commerce and Small Business Administration. We've got Elliot Cooper here from the SBA, and we also have Chuck Bundy here from Commerce. Welcome, guys, thank you for being here today. It is exciting what we're talking about, the economic recovery that our state is experiencing. Mr. Cooper, do you see it and feel it?
Yes, we see our loan volume is back to where it was prior to the recession. For example, this year we've done 199 loan guarantees, this totaling about $200 million, excuse me. And so that's good for us.
That really is.
And we still have a few more months to go in this fiscal year, so we hope it'll be a record-setting year, except for last year, which we had some stimulus money, which pushed the numbers up. But we're all back on track to have another good year. You
see it and feel it too, Mr. Bundy at Commerce. I know you do.
Oh, absolutely. And even the net numbers speak for themselves. You mentioned half the employment is in small businesses, less than 50 employees. That's the number of firms. 101,000 firms have less than 50 employees. So the economic impact is significant, and there's a lot of activity in that area.
Did you know that half of our workforce works for companies of 50?
I did not
people
know
and
that.
smaller.
I didn't. It's a pretty eye-opening statistic.
Absolutely. So small business is vital.
Absolutely. You hear a lot of economic officials will say that small business is the backbone of the American economy. I think one thing maybe we should clear up is when people hear the term small business, maybe they don't understand what defines a small business.
Well, there's several hurdles. Several hurdles you have to come. The first one is you got to have less than 500 employees, and then depending on the type of business you're in, is the receipts you do. In other words, what is your total revenue? And if you exceed the numbers, then you can fall out of the category as a small business. But generally that doesn't happen too often unless somebody is very successful.
Sure.
Very successful.
So about half of our workforce works for small business. In recent years though, guys, Brian was talking about 3 years ago, and of course 3 years ago it was a different picture for us. But during the past 3 years, it's been very difficult for businesses to get financial support from financial institutions, loans or lines of credit, and for a number of businesses, that was make or break for them.
Correct.
Finance is an issue, and it's something that we've, together with the SBA and a number of other partners in the state, have taken to heart. And we've spent a lot of time working on how can we increase the financing opportunities for companies in South Carolina. And again, in partnership with the SBA and the Federal Reserve out of Richmond, and other partners have put on a lender matchmaker session. There's one coming up May 22nd in Rock Hill.
A lender matchmaker session.
That's correct, lender matchmaker session. This is speed dating for small businesses and lenders, where we have lenders from the community, both banks, savings and loans, and non-bank lenders. And then we have small businesses looking for that opportunity. They have a chance to meet, get a feel for each other, understand what each other's needs are. And in 2 recent sessions, one in the upstate and one in Columbia, we've had companies that have found partners for the future. And again, just another way to try and connect businesses with financing and funding opportunities.
That's exciting.
It gives them that opportunity to sell to the lenders what they want, what they need, and the type business they have. They don't have to go around town. They can meet with them. And if that lender has an interest in it, he can say, well, come to see me next week.
Now, they got one coming up, you say Rock Hill. And so businesses then get in line to call up, register, whatever, to be a part of this. You've already got your lenders, and so you put them all in a room and say, I'm a business, and then a lender comes and sits there, and I get 15 minutes with them?
That's right. There will be a room full of lenders, and if you'll pardon the expression, the bell is rung, and everybody changes position and gets to meet with another lender. We have 2 more coming up after Rock Hill this year, one in Charleston later in the summer, and then one in Florence.
That's awesome.
Following that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it's especially important because I'm telling you, I've seen and heard from so many small businesses over the last couple of years that really have had to, and you guys know it, have had to throw the towel in because they just couldn't make ends meet after the economy went south and the lending started drying up. For a number of businesses, if you don't have cash flow, that's the end of the day for you.
We find that lenders are becoming more aggressive. They want a lot of scrutiny through the regulators, the FDIC, control of the currency. But hopefully that's loosened up because, as I said earlier, our numbers are up. We're back to where we were prior to the recession, and it's increasing monthly.
I bet it makes your job a lot easier.
It does. It's a lot easier to say yes than it is to say no. But so it has been a lot easier. Chuck was talking about the speed dating side. We're also doing that in government contracting. Next week we have our Salute to Small Business on Wednesday down at the Convention Center.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we have right now 100 small businesses signed up to come in and meet with 40 different buying activities, both federal, government, and also commercial. Boeing, BMW will be there.
These are procurement people?
Procurement people.
When you say procurement to a small business, you are really, you know, you're
So
really getting them
it'll be
excited.
the same process, 15 minutes, and you can move around. You sign up in advance so you know how much time you have and where you're going.
That's awesome. Now, I'm hopeful that from our show we'll have a number of people that call the SBA or go online to register for that because a number of people will want to know more about that. So it'll be at the Columbia Convention Center on Wednesday.
Wednesday, starting at 8 o'clock.
I imagine you need the whole day for it.
Well, we'll have at noon we break and have an awards luncheon for our Small Business Person of the Year and some of the runner-ups, and also we'll recognize our lenders at that time for the top lenders in the state last year.
Is this a ticketed event? Do people?
Yes,
okay.
it is.
Well, they need to contact you and find out all the details. Right. It sounds wonderful. When big corporations come to town, though, they bring with them a need for solid suppliers as well, and kind of want to move us in the direction of talking about the significance of taking where we are with this economic recovery and manufacturing and looking at the significance of having a healthy small business community in our state.
Absolutely, and I think, go ahead.
No,
Okay.
I'm excited about that statement. We need a vibrant manufacturing. We think that's a real add to our state. We're good at it. We make things well in South Carolina. But you had mentioned earlier the relationship between small business and some of those larger businesses. We spend a lot of time at Commerce and in cooperation with our partners in trying to make that connection. We've got a program called BuySC. B-U-Y-S-C.
I see.
And very good. And
You're rhyming.
What we try and do is find out what the needs of companies are, and some of those are larger, new to South Carolina. And then we take a look at potential suppliers, and we're interested in what their capacity is, what their capabilities are. And then the BuySC program helps match the needs of companies with the capacity of existing companies.
We're going to go to break. When we come
Yeah,
back, I
we'll
want to
talk
talk
about-
more about Buy SC, because I think that that's really important, and it goes to the heart of what we're talking about with small businesses. So you guys stay tuned. We're going to keep these guys here and continue our talk about small business in South Carolina's economic recovery. Stay tuned.
You're watching On Point on WACH Fox with Cynthia Hardy on Columbia's own WACH Fox.
Welcome back to On Point on WACH Fox. South Carolina is seeing strong signs of economic recovery with manufacturing leading the way, but while the state points to the benefits of companies like BMW and Boeing, experts say if the recovery is going to continue, it will depend on the success of small business. And so that's why we're happy to have Chuck Bundy from the Department of Commerce and Elliot Cooper here from the Small Business Administration. And when we went to break, we were talking about the connection between our growth and surge in manufacturing and what we are doing, what the state is doing to promote small business. And Mr. Bundy, you were saying.
Right, we were talking about the Buy SC program, again, just an opportunity to connect South Carolina's small business community with the manufacturing and other larger industries coming in. And we've had much success with that. We match the needs and the capacities and capabilities of existing companies, and that's both on the service side and the product manufacturer side, because a lot of small companies make a lot of things, and in the contractor and subcontractor side. When a tire manufacturer is building a new plant, they need a lot of subcontractors, and we're there to help introduce them to South Carolina companies who can do a lot of that work.
The surge in those big manufacturing companies, I would have to imagine, is instilling some confidence in people that maybe were a little concerned about going off on their own and starting their own company in recent years. And are people feeling better now?
I think people are feeling better, but also we're seeing existing companies grow. They're making the expansion. They're adding a wing to their plant. And that's where, a lot of the action is today. And hopefully it'll transfer over to the startup, so to speak.
Sure.
That growing that Elliot referred to is real important, and that's our objective, is to help those small businesses grow. We've launched a new website at Commerce called SC Biz Network, SCBIZNETWORK, scbiznetwork.com. And that's one of the efforts of that site is so a company can go in, maybe they need a loan, or looking for another $100,000. Maybe they need help with a business plan. Maybe there's a regulatory question. And they can go to this site, answer a few questions, tell the site where they are in Richland County or Lexington or wherever, and then get a blueprint or a roadmap with local resources, some SBA related and others, to help them find a real person, a real phone number, a real website, and again, to help them address, and there are many different issues, but address those issues that can help them with their growth.
I mean, that sounds tremendous, and it sounds like a real breakthrough. It sounds like a great way to use technology to help bridge some of the gaps that are there, because we recognize that people have desires to grow their businesses, and sometimes it's very difficult to do that not knowing what else is on the horizon. So if you can match what the needs are in the state, some concrete information that says that, with what you can provide, you're halfway there. I mean, it seems like it's a whole lot easier to get there from here.
Right, and that connection is something that we're always trying to, how can we connect? There's some wonderful resources in the state for small business. The question is, is connecting those?
And in the last minute that we have with you guys together here on the set, I thought it might be good to talk about what you do for minority businesses, because we've got Darren Thomas coming up afterwards to kind of talk a little bit about how he's been able to not just grow his own business, but also assist others through Black Expo, Black Pages, and some of the things that he's done. But I know you've got some focus on some minority efforts, so kind of throw those out there if you don't mind.
Well, the big thing we do is the contracting side. Through the 8A program and the Hub Zone program, we now have a women's program as far as percentage. 23% of all government contracts are supposed to go to small businesses. And the agency-wide all the agencies got very close to that number last year.
23%?
Yeah, 23%. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot.
That is a lot.
But you look at the big contracts making jets and battleships and all that when you put that into the mix. So we're having a lot of success in that. And what people need to do is to get themselves certified in as many different programs as they can. They can be certified 8A, they can also be certified HubZone, they can be certified women-owned business. If they're service-connected disabled veteran, that's another certification. Because when an agency goes out today, it may go to 8A. The contract tomorrow may go to women-owned businesses. So they need to get to us and let us try to get them certified in those different areas if possible.
We're spending, supplier diversity is important. It's important to today's manufacturing community. That's just a fact, and it should be. We're spending a lot of time helping companies find that diversified supply network. And in fact, a recent meeting we had for a general contractor was more specifically aimed at small and minority and women-owned and veteran-owned business opportunities, bringing them together so they could have a more diverse group of subcontractors for their project. We're doing a lot in that area, and it's great to see, beginning to see some real results there.
Oh, you know, because it takes all of us together
Absolutely,
working to make it good for all of us.
Especially during the hard times.
Especially during the hard times. Thank you guys for being with us today. We're going to go to break. When we come back, Darren Thomas, founder of Black Expo, is going to be with us. You guys stay tuned.
You're watching On Point on WACH Fox with Cynthia Hardy on Columbia's own WACH Fox.
Welcome back to On Point on Watch. Brian and I are talking about small business fueling the economic recovery of South Carolina, but the economic recovery is happening.
It is happening, and as we've learned in the first two segments, more and more people are feeling better about things. And it's not only the smaller businesses, but it's also, as we all know, it's being driven by the larger manufacturing firms as well that are deciding to set up shop here, and that trickles down to the smaller folks to say, hey, it's not so bad.
Absolutely. Yeah. Darren Thomas, you're joining us. Welcome, dear.
Thank you.
This is great to have you here. How excited are you about Black Expo coming up, starting a whole week-long of events starting on the 14th?
We are very excited. Another opportunity to help promote small businesses and, really play an integral role in giving them that push or really a forum to be able to present their products and services in this changing market.
You know, it was interesting, Brian and Chuck, that Elliot said before he departed that what's different now is that the decision to put the focus on small, women-owned, minority businesses comes top down. And so there's a push from the top to actually meet goals and things like that. Like, for instance, 23% of procurement is supposed to go to small businesses from state government and things like that. So when a business like Darren Thomas has listens to something like that, that's got to be pretty exciting for them. And I know you get good results from that from people.
Sure, exactly. And we, both on the government, on the federal and state side, but on the private sector side, there's a recognition of the importance of diversity. I mean, our population, our state population is diverse. We need a workforce, and we need supply chain system that reflects that, and it's exciting, and those changes are happening.
Do you feel it?
In some regards, yes. I mean, it depends on the sector. We interface with so many small businesses throughout the state, and several of them, or many of them, tend to align into the service sector and smaller. And while many of those firms may have been slow, well, it's been slow to recover, and a lot of it is resource driven. I mean, if you were hit very hard during the slow economy as a result of not having the resources to be able to look at a different revenue stream, and you're really zeroed in on a particular area, you live or die by that. And for those that have survived, what we're finding is that they've survived because they were really fortunate to look at other areas, and as they come out of that, then they're in a better position to be able to take advantage of some of those opportunities that may not have been there before.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, you've got to obviously be feeling good about things right now. And the expo that's coming up, are you going to get a good opportunity to meet up with a lot of people? I'm sure they're going to have a lot of questions about how do I get started? Is this the right time? As we've been hearing, it might very well be the best time.
It certainly is. I mean, this is, in most estimations, the time when a company can look at an opportunity for lack of a better word, to exploit an opportunity that may not have been there 5-6 years ago. And certainly, Brian, we're excited because at the bare minimum, it's another opportunity to really position those businesses. Our business summit is focusing on social media, using other tools to help gain visibility and exposure for your businesses. And while at the same time, we conduct the Black Expo in Charleston as well as the upstate, how we connect businesses across the framework of the state, realizing that, there are no geographical bounds, and, what might be the best way to look at doing that.
This is a good precursor for Small Business Development Week, Small Business Week?
That's right, absolutely. Coming up next week in South Carolina. And then the week after that, nationally.
Well, I think that's really great, that we're seeing so much business activity and so many people in our state talking about the significance of small business. Because I think that when you do have companies like Boeing and Michelin and Continental and all, they're doing great things.
Absolutely.
And it's easy to think, oh gosh, this is where I need to go try to find a job there. But for a number of people, the reality of the situation is they work for small businesses, and those small businesses have to be strengthened. What's down the road for commerce?
Down the road for commerce, we're continuing to look at ways that we can make those connections better. We just launched in February our SC Biz Network site. We're in the middle of an exciting round of lender matchmaker sessions. We're actually spending more time with companies that are coming into the state, the large ones, exploring their needs and actually helping facilitate, and that's probably another major focus of ours, facilitating those connections even more, whether it's a tire company or an aircraft manufacturer or a car manufacturer.
Gotcha.
What are your needs? Where are you headed? We think we can help you find great South Carolina suppliers and a diversity of them as well.
Well, you guys stick around. We're going to go to break, come right back, and want to hear some details about the big Black Expo week that you have coming up.
Absolutely.
So you guys stay tuned. We're going to continue our conversation about small business and the significance of small business on economic recovery. Stay tuned.
You're watching On Point on WACH Fox with Cynthia Hardy on Columbia's own WACH Fox.
Welcome back. We're talking small business, and the success of small business is tied to the success of the state. And of course, Black Expo is coming up. Give us a rundown of what you got.
Absolutely. Start off with Monday. It's more geared towards young professionals with the Urban League on. That's Monday night.
At Pink.
At Pink.
I
absolutely.
know.
Another
I'm
small
excited
business
about
supporting.
that. I love that place.
Absolutely. And then on Wednesday night is our Power of Praise with the Brooklyn Baptist Youth Adult Ministry.
Oh, wow.
On Thursday is our Business Summit, which focuses on using social media to brand your business, being held at ITology. Thursday night is our kickoff reception where we honor all our sponsors. Our charity golf tournament on Friday out of Cobblestone. Friday night, it's a big event. It's a unique event, Taste of Black Columbia. We're using that event to really highlight small, minority-owned restaurants, chefs, caterers. Exciting event because of the numbers of people it draws into town. And then on Saturday, Black Expo at the Colonial Center. Have our gospel competition. You'll have 200 plus exhibitors, small businesses.
Got some great celebrities coming.
Great celebs coming in. Megan Good from the hit movie Think Like a Man. Think Like a Woman, Act Like a Man. Of course, Bobby Jones, Bashan Mitchell hosting our gospel competition. We've got Diggy Simmons from the whole Russell Simmons Empire.
Awesome.
And Shawnee O'Neal will be doing a segment about women and women in business. Of course, her background being Basketball Wives and the TV show she's a part of. We have our historically black high school challenge where it's more of a reunion where members from Booker T. Washington, C.A. Johnson, Weber High School, Hopkins High School, Lakeview, we're bringing those folks back and we're having a competition on the main stage.
A lot of economic activity,
Absolutely,
huh, Chuck?
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And Chuck, I want to ask you too, conventions, expos like this, how important are they to getting all the players in one room, so to speak, and making sure they have the resources they need?
Well, I was just thinking about the network concept. You have to, it's critical. And the Black Expo brings, all right, I got a number like 25,000 people might be engaged in this event over the next few days, which to me is phenomenal. You have to meet face to face with somebody to transact some business. And that's what this is, that's what's exciting about what these guys are up to.
And it's all about relationships because the whole idea is to create a relationship. And if there's one thing I learned from Xerox 20-some years ago, business is all relationship. And even to get through any economic downturn, even in the good times, it's all about relationships.
Well, it's nice to hear about the Business Summit and to know that so much of what you're doing is strengthening,
Absolutely.
strengthening businesses.
Period.
That'll be there. Well, thank you guys. We got to get out of here. It's been a great show, Brian.
has. We
Thank
learned
you.
a lot.
It's always
Hopefully
delightful
everyone
to
else
share
did
this
too.
time with you. Yeah, we hope they did. That's it for this edition of On Point on Watch Fox. Send us your comments and suggestions to onpointwithcynthia.com. Go to our Facebook page. Leave your comments. And don't forget, follow us on Twitter at Radio Talk. And go to the Facebook page, like us. Thanks for watching. We believe when you're informed, you're empowered. Once empowered, you're on point. See you next week.